Mr. Savage, how you going?
Pretty good, Mr. Wilkie. How are you?
Top of the world. How's that mowing business going?
Pretty well. Pretty successful, to be honest.
Starting to make a little bit of money?
Making a little bit of money on the side, yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
how's that working out for you?
Pretty well. So I've decided I'm going to charge $2 per minute for my mowing.
Per minute? All right. Okay.
Yeah. Don't ask how much that is per hour.
It's quite a bit.
It's not bad.
Okay, good effort. Good. Are you worth that?
Easily.
Do you do the edges?
Of course.
All right then. $2 a minute it is.
Yep.
Quite often we see people present rates in tables. That's because we're not just working on 1 minute of time, we might be working on 5 or 60 minutes, even 100 minutes of time. So sometimes it's easier to present it in a table, exactly as Mr. Savage has done here. Now Mr. Savage, how does this table work, given that you're charging $2 per minute?
So across the top row of my table here, I've got the various times I could work for. So for example, 0 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15, 20 and 25 minutes. The second row of my table, I actually need to calculate the value that goes into each space.
Okay.
Now I do that by taking the amount of time and multiplying it by $2. So for example, if I mow for 5 minutes, I multiply that by 2, and that gives me a charge of $10.
I see, because 5 times 2 is 10.
Exactly.
I see.
So these 3 empty spaces here, I haven't quite filled in my entire table, you can see.
Okay.
So I would take the amount of time, the 15 minutes, multiply it by $2 to give me $30 here.
Fantastic. I understand. So that would be 15 times 2 to give me 30 right in there.
Yeah.
Fantastic stuff.
20 times 2 would give me?
40.
Exactly. And if I were to mow for a full 25 minutes?
50. So Mr. Savage, one way of displaying this data is via a table.
Yeah.
And we can see that's very useful because we can solve numbers in here exactly as you presented here. Is there another way that we could present this same information?
Oh, definitely. Even better way, in my opinion. We could take this data here and put it on a graph. And that way we could actually work out if there's some sort of relationship between the two things I'm looking at, time and charge.
That's fantastic. So maybe if we were to plot charge versus time,
Yep.
So charge being on the y-axis and time being on the x-axis.
Exactly.
Let's have a go.
Let's do it. So here's my graph for my mowing charges. Now, like any good graph, I've got a title and I've also labelled my axes. So I've got the charge in dollars on the y-axis here and the time in minutes across the x-axis. So, Mr. Wilkie, could you shout out some of those points of my table and I'll plot them on this graph here?
Sure, mate. The first point is 0, 0, because if you don't work, you don't get paid.
So right there.
The second point is 5, 10. If you work 5 minutes, you charge $10.
Okay, so I go across to the 5 minutes on my x-axis and I sketch up to 10 minutes and that's where I'm going to place my data point.
The next point is if you work for 10 minutes, you get paid $20.
So across to 10 and up to 20.
Then 15 and 30. 20 and 40. And finally 25 and 50.
Easy. So the next step I would probably do is grab my ruler and draw a nice line through all of those points as a linear fit.
Mr. Savage, welcome back.
Hey Mr. Wilkie.
Now I hear you've increased some of your fees somewhat.
Yeah, I've pushed it up just a little. I want to make a bit more money. I found I was driving out to these properties to do a little mowing job and it wasn't really worth my time. So I've actually added a call-out fee to my price or my charge.
So that means that if I even call you up, just to come out to my property before you start working, I pay you $20.
Exactly.
Clever.
So as you can see, it's going to change my table and graph from earlier just a little bit because I need to incorporate that extra $20 I'll be earning.
Sure.
So even if I work 0 minutes, if I'm driving out there, I'm charging $20.
Unbelievable stuff.
From there, I'm still doing the same rate of $2 per minute. So if I mow for 5 minutes, that's $10, and I add that to the $20 to give me $30.
So 5 minutes, times $2 per minute is your $10.
Yep.
Plus your $20 call out fee. There's your $30 right there.
Exactly.
I understand.
And you can see this trend continues up the table. So mowing for 10 minutes, I get $20 plus my $20 call out. 15 minutes, $2 per minute, $30 plus my $20 will give me
$50.
exactly. 20 minutes, I'm going to double that again to get my $40 plus my extra 20, which, Mr. Ellis, how much will that be?
60.
He's onto it this time. Well done, Mr. Ellis.
And of course, finally, if I do the 25-minute job again, double that for $50 plus 20 for 70.
That's unbelievable stuff. Good money. Good money.
Very good.
Okay. And I can see that you've also presented, not only in a table, you've presented this information also as a graph.
Yes, definitely.
Okay. And how does a graph help us there?
So the big difference is how much I earn at 0 minutes of mowing. You can see on the graph here, rather than starting down here at $0, I'm actually starting at $20 even though I've mowed for 0 minutes. So this is called my y-intercept, or where the rate's going to begin from.
Yep. Remembering that your x-axis is the horizontal one and your y-axis is the vertical one. So that's why you
Exactly.
called it the y-intercept.
The y-intercept.
Okay.
Now my rate is still $2 per minute. So the linear graph I've actually drawn here has the same slant or gradient as my previous graph.
Okay, so because the rate was exactly the same, the slope or the angle of the graph was also exactly the same.
That's it.
That's incredible.
Yeah. I'm earning a little bit more money thanks to that little call out fee.